What's happening, Vapors? This is Nick from GardnerStateVapors.com, here to review the HCigar DNA 30 box mod. As you can see when side by side, the HCigar is definitely smaller as far as length or height goes when put next to the iTaste VTR. And thickness, it's actually thicker than the VTR. That all said, it's significantly lighter. So one thing that HCigar boasts is that this is capable of going down to 0.3 ohms. I can personally confirm that it does in fact do that. Sometimes mod makers will claim that it can go to a low resistance and then, you know, it's iffy at best. This will go down to 0.3 and I believe up to 3 ohms at its highest. It also goes between 7 watts and 30 watts, all in 0.1 increments, which is quite nice. Navigating through the wattage settings is very easy, and as you hold the button down, it will actually speed up the process. As you can see, it goes faster and faster. Again, on the display itself, it does show your ohm resistance. It'll show while firing the voltage going to your atomizer. It shows the wattage. And it shows the battery bar, which I think is a great feature. It's always nice to know how much battery life you have left here. Oh yeah, some good stuff. In order to navigate the different menu functions on here, you would do it just like you would with a real DNA 30. You'll click 5 times the fire button in rapid succession, and it'll say locked, and it'll tell you locked, click 5 times. That's to unlock it. Now if you want to flip the display from left facing that way or to the right facing towards the logo, you would hold the fire button and the top button at the same time. After about 5 seconds, it'll say write mode. If you continue to hold that button down, it will then go to left mode. Now if you want to enter stealth mode, you do the same thing. You hold the fire button and you press the bottom button for about 5 seconds. Now it says normal mode. If I continue to hold that button down, it'll then enter stealth mode. Purpose of stealth mode is that it basically turns off the display so that when you're vaping, it does not have, you know, the screen readout with your ohms reading, the voltage, the battery signal, or the wattage setting. I don't know how much battery life it saves. Frankly, I haven't tested it. But if it does save battery life, that's definitely a plus, because now it's time to discuss the negatives about this mod. Okay, when I first got this, every time I tried to attach a tank to it, I would get a warning or error message saying Check Atomizer. It would not fire. I tried everything, K-Funds, Kangers, Aspire, you name it. Only 2 tanks worked, and that was my Fogger V4 and a Trident. So I contacted the vendor who I purchased it from, and they told me to follow a video link they sent me. Apparently HCigar was aware of the problem and actually put a YouTube video up telling you how to fix it. So to spare you the grief of going and having to find that video, I'm going to show you now what I had to do. So if you had the unfortunate experience that I did, where you have the Check Atomizer warning going off with all your tanks, you unfortunately have to open up the back of your mod. Okay, fortunately, it's just 2 small Phillip head screws. Pretty easy to open. They're not, they have little rubber O-rings underneath, which is a nice feature actually. Prevents scratching the box, although it is pretty strong aluminum, so I personally am not concerned about scratching or stripping, although it appears I may have spoken too soon. This is actually, the bottom one is now too tight, and I'll explain why in a moment, but let me get a different screwdriver. Alright, so even though these are Phillips heads, I'm actually using one of the mini screwdrivers that you get with some of the nicer RBAs and RDAs. I'm using the flathead screw, or the flathead, to unscrew this, and it's working fine now. Unfortunately, the Phillips head I was attempting to use was actually scraping away and stripping the head, even though I had just boasted about how that wasn't an issue. Hey, it's YouTube. What can I tell you? There's going to be errors. So anyway, back to the point. Go here and we open the back up. Now I can go back to my easy screwdriver. What a pain in the rear end here. Alright, so I'm going to open the back here. You can't make this up. We're now going to open up the back. Now the first thing you're going to notice is that all of the wiring is actually exposed. I've seen that on a couple of different variations of the clones. Obviously the Hana mods themselves have a nice casing here that protect the circuits and the chip. This doesn't. So if you have the Check Atomizer issue, you have to adjust the ground wire, which is actually not necessarily too difficult, but if you have a wire in the way, it's not too fun. So it is actually right here in the center where my fingernail is. See this screw? This screw is your ground wire. Even if it doesn't move, just slightly tighten it to the right. Slightly tighten it to the right. And now, every atomizer, every tank I put on here works flawlessly. So that's a plus. Now the other problem. This device has a great microUSB charging port, which worked pretty well for me the first 4 times I used it. Then one day I tried to put it in, and I'll actually show you what happened. This came with it. Tried to put in the charger, and what happened? The whole thing inside pushed forward, meaning I can't use this charging port anymore. This part right here this bottom piece, the glue actually wore out for whatever reason, and I've tried fixing it. I've tried getting it hot gluing it back in place, and to no avail. So that means now I have to actually physically take out my batteries when I want to charge them. And by doing that, each time I do that, this container part right here and the lead right here, positive connector, slowly getting looser and looser. That's going to be a problem in the long term. And That's my major issue with this mod. I do want to make another point about the USB or micro USB charging port. As you can see, my serial number here is 213. There's a gentleman on YouTube who also did a review of this mod named Job131 Vapes, I believe. I'll link him below. And his unit has serial number 510. When his arrived from his wherever he ordered it from, his USB, micro USB, was actually crooked on the inside. Out of the box, crooked. So this is obviously a quality control issue. I don't know if it's just the early batches that are suffering from this, but I think it's pretty poor on the part of HCigar to release a product that has apparently a consistent issue. Two consistent issues. One being so bad that they actually had to release a video telling us how to fix the ground wire. A couple other notes. It does come with a nifty and handy carrying case. Kind of like the carrying case. It's very useful. And again, it comes with the micro USB charger cable. Not an adapter, just the cable. Make sure you don't go using, an adapter for an Ego or something. Use your computer, or if you have a good battery charger like an X-Star, use the USB port on that, and make sure you have a fully charged battery inside if you're using that to charge the battery inside of this. In my case, like I said, I actually have to open up the back every time to swap out the battery. It's a total pain in the rear. I am disappointed. If these two issues were resolved, I would give this a 4 out of 5 rating. And the only reason I wouldn't give it 5 is because of battery life itself. Last but not least, come back next week because I actually have another box mod I'm reviewing, and that one is going to be the Pioneer for You IPV V2. That comes with the Yeehee or Yeehee SX330 V2 chip. It goes at 50 watts. It's also powered by a replaceable 18650 battery, and I have a good feeling about the quality of build. Pioneer for You has done some pretty good work lately on their designs. I'm not going to get into the details on the 722, but they are beautiful devices, and when they work great. So come back, subscribe. We also have an upcoming juice review from Smug Juice, and there will be a giveaway contest after. So I'd like you guys to please sign up here, check out our Facebook page, and stay in the loop. Thank you very much for your time. Be safe and vape on.